Hey folks, how you doing? It's Clay Francisco again on an actually really nice December day. I think it is the 20. No, it's the 19th today. Anyway, I was reaching in my pocket to get my phone to, but um, yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update as to where I am. I kind of did the yearly thing to just show where I'm at for the end of the year, but also I wanted to show what I'm actually doing to prepare for next year, right? What my goals are. I would love to get, at bare minimum, two 70,000 word books done, and, at maximum, four 70,000 word books done. That would be great. So that's kind of like my goal there for next year. And what that entails is getting my equipment together, right? And I found these great little 50 card notebook guys. Yeah, and I figure I'll just put in, little chapter ideas. I don't think you can, right? And just see what happens, right? I've got 50 chapters, or 50 available chapters, right? And then I go through and I'll write, chapter 24, the end of Act 2, right? Beginning of Act 3 and the second battle, right? Stuff like that, so that I can kind of, get my bullet points, do that. If each one of these cards it jumps out to about 1,500 words each, that's a 75,000 word manuscript to start with, right? I then just grabbed a bunch of cheap 70 sheet notebooks. And then the idea is that I've got like chapter kind of headings there for just like what the basics would be. And then within that, right, I'm doing scenes, right? So I've got scene, 19. And each one of those, it's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio because things are getting thicker. If I find that I'm at, a 2-to-1 ratio instead of a 1.5-to-1 ratio, I'll need to get thicker books. But right now I'm just experimenting, and so we'll see how this works. So far it's been pretty good. I'm up to scene 35 now, and I think that's equating to it was chapter 29. So, whatever percentage of that ahead I am, right? 29 here, 35 here. So I'm getting there, but that's what I'm doing. Once I get this completely filled, right, all 70 pages or whatever I need to do to get my rough draft down to get these chapter headings fleshed out into scenes, I am then going to use Google Docs dictation, voice to text, to then rough draft it, right? I'll then basically read from this like I were doing a narration, and embellish yet again as I go, right? I take this and then thicken it up into this, and then I'll take this and dictate it into the computer and thicken that up, and that should be kind of like a rough draft 0, right? Like an ultra rough draft. Hopefully what'll happen from there, and this is what I've been experimenting with the other two books and dictation over the past couple of months, where I've just been playing around and seeing how it works. I like it. It's rough, right? Because I'm not doing any of the punctuation. I'm not doing any of the, quote this or that or commas, nothing. I'm just barfing into the microphone and editing later. And so it certainly doesn't count as a rough draft, what I'm doing with dictation, but I really like the free form ability of the open thought and nothing between me and my ideas, just getting stuff onto the page. It feels really good to watch your story just explode in front of you. And So we'll see. So that's what I'm going to do with these next two books. I've got new series that I'm going to starting next year, because I was never really supposed to do this Karg thing, you know, a barbarian story I just wasn't supposed to. The only reason I did it is because I was doing the LibriVox recordings on YouTube and just listening to a bunch of the old stuff, you know, Alan Quatermain, you know, John Carter of Mars, Conan, etc. Right? And like reading the Sword of Rhiannon. Anyway, so that's just where I was at in the headspace, and so that was the first story that I decided to create to see if I even enjoyed the writing process and if it was something that I could do for fun and possibly make a living at it. And it is. I love it. I'm doing it. I'm here. I'm neck deep now. But I was never supposed to be neck deep with a barbarian story in the desert. I was absolutely trying to go for just a test run. But one thing led to another, and then instead of taking the manuscript, like I've said before, and sticking it in a drawer where nobody will ever see it, friends of mine decided it would be a good idea to release it, and so I did. But it's time to switch gears to something I think might be a little bit more marketable. It's not exactly right to market, but with a post-apocalypse reclamation of the earth sort of zombie story that I'm going with, it's adjacent to stuff that was popular a few years ago. Still probably gets in a lot of Google or Amazon searches. The other one, of course, is the Timeless Vampires, and you can never really get enough of that for some reason. And for that one, I'm doing a whole new alternate history for vampires and stuff, so I'm actually really excited about that. I'm really excited about the lore that I'm going to be able to put into that one, but that's going to take a lot of time. That book is definitely going to take, you know, I have a timeline written out for it that's a few thousand years. Yeah, so I'm going to have to learn how to rein that in, but at the same time, I want that history sort of understood so that way I'll be able to pull from the past consistently. What you going to do, right? And so because I'm writing something that spans that big a time period, I mean, that's kind of the point, is that it's one of these, anyway. That doesn't matter. Video's getting long. The point is, I've got notebooks, and I think they're gonna help. So, step 1, step 2, step 3 is dictating into this guy. All right? That's it. I'll let you guys know how the process goes. Once I fill this notebook up, I'll show it to you, and then I'll get this guy rough drafted out, and we'll see what happens, folks. Yeah, that's it. I'll let you know how my writing process goes. Yeah, maybe I'll do another video in December here, but it's getting pretty late. Solstice and Christmas are coming up, so yeah, it's gonna be holidays. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and if I don't see you before then, have a great holidays, folks. Bye.